Peace be upon you, grade 7. In this video we will work on the present perfect rule, and we will continue working on this rule because we have already started explaining this rule in one of the previous videos. What we are going to learn today is different forms, the negative and interrogative. I would like you now to open your student's book on page 81. This is how the page looks like. So before we start with any of the activities that you have on this page, I would like to remind you that we use has or have plus the past participle in the present perfect rule. And of course we use have with they, we, you, and I, and we use has with she, he, and it. So now let's get started with the first activity that we have on this page, which is explore activity number 1. What we need to do here is to listen to a dialogue between Emily and Sarah, and they are getting ready to go to Cairo. What we need to do is to listen carefully to this dialogue and put a tick on the things that they have done. On the right side of this picture you have this list. We call this list as to-do list. When you want to do different things, you will write them in a note and you will put a tick on the missions that you have already done. So we call this as to-do list. So after listening to the dialogue, we will put a tick on the things that they have already finished. And the things that we have on this list, it's not clear here, but if you look at your the picture that you have in your books, it's going to be really clear. So the first thing that we have is book tickets, find passports, change money, buy guidebook, and the last one is pack suitcase. Listen carefully and try to guess the answers.
Unit 9, page 81. Grammar. Explore. Exercise 1. Read and listen to the dialogue.
Okay, we've booked the tickets. Have you found the passports? Yes, they're here. Have you changed the money? No, I haven't. We can do that at the airport. Okay. Have you bought a guidebook? Yes, I have. Good. Now, we haven't packed the suitcase. Let's do that now.
I hope you have found the answers for this activity, and the answers are going to be only 3 missions out of 5. So here we have 5 different missions. The answers are only 3, so we have to put a tick at only 3 of these missions. The first one, they have booked the tickets, so add a tick right here in the first square that you have in this list. The second thing that they have done is that they have found the passports. Found. Here you have find passports. Found because we are using the present perfect rule. They have found the passports, and that's why, because we are using the past participle. So this is the second one. Put a tick here. And the last one is to buy a guideline. Excuse me, it's not a guideline, it's a guidebook. So buy a guidebook, which is this one. So put a tick right here. So they did not change the money yet, and they did not pack their suitcases. Now let's move to the second activity that we have, which is this one right here. What we need to do here is to complete the table with the correct form of have. So what does this mean? We have 2 main forms for have. One is called negative, which is the first one, and the second one is interrogative and short answers. Okay, so right now we will start with the first example that we have. We have I, you, we, and they, and then we have the space packed the suitcases. So going back to the previous activity, Emily and Sarah have only finished 3 missions of this list, which is book the tickets, find the passports, and buy a guidebook. So we still have 2 missions here, which is to change the money and to pack the suitcase. In this example, we have the space and then it is followed by pack the suitcases. And we have to use the negative form of have. So it's going to be haven't packed the suitcases. So please write haven't here, right in this space. And of course, when we are talking about 2 people or more, Emily and Sarah, so we will use they. They haven't packed the suitcases. With he, she, and it, we will use hasn't packed the suitcases. Why is that? You might be wondering why is that? Because with he, she, and it, we use has, and with they, we, you, and I, we use have. And the negative form for have is haven't. The negative form for has is hasn't. Now let's move to the second part. If you want to form a question, we have to start it with have because we have I, you, we, and they. So it's going to be, have you bought a guidebook? Have we bought a guidebook? Have they bought a guidebook? And if you want to ask yourself, have I bought a guidebook? And of course, with he, she, and it, you have to start your question with has. Has he bought the guidebook? Has she bought a guidebook? Or has it bought a guidebook? If the answer is yes, it's going to be yes, I have. Or if not, it's going to be no, I haven't. For has, we will say yes, she has. And for the negative form, it's going to be no, she hasn't. Now I would like you to check your answers for activity number 2, explore. And we have 3 spaces. The first one we have to write haven't, the second one have, and the last one haven't. Now we will move to exploit, and the first activity that we have here is writing. What we need to do is to write sentences about the list in explore exercise number 1 and use the present perfect, affirmative, and negative. This means that we are going to use this list that we have on this picture, this list, and it includes 5 missions that we talked about. What we need to do is just to write these sentences by using the present perfect, affirmative, and negative. And here we have an example for the first one. So they have booked the tickets. They have booked the tickets, and this is the abbreviation of writing have. So it's they've booked the tickets. And now we will complete writing the rest of the missions. I would like you to try to do the rest of the sentences yourself, and of course we're going to check the answers in a minute. So here we have the answers for task number 1, exploit. The first one, which is already given for us. They have booked their tickets. The second one, they have found the passports. Number 3, they haven't changed the money. Number 4, they have bought a guidebook. And number 5, which is the last one, they haven't packed the suitcase. Please make sure to write all of these sentences. If you don't have a space in your books, just bring your notebooks and write it with the number of the activity. Now we are in the second part of this page, and we will start working on activity number 2, exploit. What we need to do here is to complete the questions about the list using the present perfect interrogative, then write short answers. And I would like you to be very careful with using have or has. We use have with we, they, you, and I, and has we use it with she, he, and it. And the rest of the examples that you have here, number 2, number 3, and number 4, we're talking about Sarah and Emily. So this means that they are one person. I would like you to try to do this activity yourself, and as I told you that we are going to check the answers in a minute. Just try to fill these spaces with the correct answer to test your understanding of the rule. Now I would like you to check your answers for task number 2, exploit, and the first one is, have they booked their tickets? The answer is yes, they have. The second one, the first space you have to write has because we're talking about Sarah. The second space, has Sarah found, so the verb used here is found the passport. The answer is yes, she has. Number 3, has Emily changed the money? No, she hasn't. Number 4, has Emily bought a guidebook? The answer is yes, she has. And the last one, have they packed the suitcase? No, they haven't. And all of our answers are depending on the list that we have read in the previous activity. We're going to skip number 3 and number 4, and we will stop with number 5. In this activity, you have to put a tick on the activities that you've done for the day. So if you have taken a bus, put a tick. If you have watched TV, put a tick. If not, don't put anything, you can leave it empty. Number 6, which is activity number 6, is connected with number 5. What you need to do here is to write full sentences about the activities that you have done for today, and this is going to be your homework for this lesson. So that's really it for today. Take care.